Okay, today we're going to use a little bit of algebra and apply those skills to the angle vocabulary that we talked about in the last video. If you want to, take out a piece of loose leaf paper so you can copy things down. If we look at these questions, they say solve for x and then find the measure of each angle. So if we look at the first picture, the first thing we want to do is recognize that this right here is called a straight angle. And hopefully you realize in a straight angle, you have 180 degrees. So in order to solve for x, we're going to add these two angles, so x plus 50, and we're going to set them equal to 180 degrees. If I combine like terms on the left, I get 2x plus 50 equals 180 degrees. To solve, I'm going to move the numbers to one side and keep the letters or the variables on the other. If I do 180 minus 50, either on a calculator or in my head, I get 130. If I divide both sides by 2, I get that x equals 65. Now that answers the first part, but it also says to find the measure of each angle. So if x is 65, that means this angle on the left is 65. On the right, I've got 65 plus 50, and if I either add them in the calculator or add them in my head, I get 115. So this obtuse angle is 115. This acute angle is 65. If I look at example number 2, the first thing that we notice is this funny symbol here. That means perpendicular. And perpendicular means 90 degrees. So if you wanted to, you can make a nice little box in there. That is called a right angle. And the last video we said a right angle means that it's 90 degrees. So algebraically, for this one, we would write 5x plus 40 equals 90. Again, I want to leave the letters on the left. I want to move the numbers to the right. 90 minus 40 is 50. So 5x equals 50. If I divide by 5, I get that x equals 10. Again, if I go back and read the question, it says each angle. The 40 is already there. If x is 10, 5 times 10 means that the other angle is 50 degrees. If I look at the next example, for number 3, these two angles here in this picture, because it makes an x, they're called vertical. And vertical angles are congruent. That's the symbol for congruent. So if I look at this, I can say 5x plus 23 equals 138. Again, if I want to solve this, I'm going to move the numbers to one side, so minus 23, 5x equals 115. If I divide both sides by 5, I get that x equals 23. So if I wanted to find my angles, this one here is 138 because it's given. If I plug in for the x, the 23, 5 times 23 in my calculator plus 23, you should get 138. If you don't get 138 and they don't become equal, you know you made a mistake somehow here in your algebra. If we wanted to add a twist to this question, we could say find this angle, in which case I would say this is a straight line. So that means this angle here plus this angle here have to add up to 180. So I could do 180 minus 138 And technically then this angle would be 42, and so would this, because the left and the right sides are also vertical. Sometimes when we get to the regents, the questions are a little bit more complex. If we look at question number 4, I'll try to zoom in a little bit for you. For question number 4, if we wanted to find all of these missing angles, it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle. The first thing I would notice, or I do notice, is this little box here. That box is a cheat. It means 90 degrees. It means that's a right angle. Now, if I continue to look, it's a little tricky because I do know that over here, this is also going to be a right angle because this is a straight line here. But I have an A and I have an X, so I really can't find that angle. However, if I look a little bit closer and I look at what I just highlighted green, this and this are vertical angles. Vertical angles are equal. So I can say that 3x plus 20 equals 6x minus 4. If I move the x's to one side, and at the same time I'm going to move the numbers to the other side, I'm going to get that 24 equals 3x. If I divide by 3, I get x equals 8. If I plug that in, 3 times 8 plus 20, that's 24 plus 20, that's 44. So that means this is also going to be 44, or 6 times 8 is 48 minus 4. You could write that quick. So this angle here is 44. This angle is 44. If we look again at what we just said with this, whoops, sorry, I hit the wrong button. If we look at what I said here, that this was 90, because this makes a straight line and the left side is 90. If I do 90 minus 44, I get 46. That means that angle, angle A, is 46. And then we have one of two choices to find angle C. Again, if this is a straight line, and I know this is 44, I could do 180 minus 44, and I get 136. Or, if I look at this angle here, and I trace this x, I know this is getting a little messy, it's the same as these two, and over here, 90 plus 46 also gives me my 136. That's something that you might see on a Regents where it's going to make you think a bit. Last question. If we wanted to find all the missing angles here, let's see if you could do it faster than I can. I'll zoom in a little bit for you. First one, easiest one, that's 90. If I look and I trace, there's my x. When I have an x, the left and the right, or the top and the bottom, they're equal. That one's 54. Another cheat. If I look at this, that's a straight line. That means this is also has to be 90 because 90 plus 90 is 180. So that means if I do 90 minus 54, that means this one here is going to be 36. Again, if I look at D and I look at what lines are creating D, it's vertical to these two. So 90 plus 36 is 126. So that means angle D also has to be 126. Again, if you have any questions, write them down and be sure to either email me or ask me when you see me in class.